Former Ohio State great and NFL quarterback Dwayne Haskins died tragically recently uh, after being struck by a vehicle. But instead of the football world being able to just focus on that and mourn one of its own, a firestorm uh, was created by a couple of guys. One being ESPN reporter Adam Schefter, and another being Dallas Cowboy legend Gil Brandt. Now, from what I've been able to see from social media, it seems like Adam Schefter being catching most of the heat, at least on my timeline, uh, for his insensitive tweet, which he has since deleted. I know I saw uh, Lamar Jackson light his ass up. I think I saw Dez Bryant light his ass up. I've seen people call for him to get the Rachel Nichols treatment. And he deserves all the shit he's getting right now. Adam Schefter, it didn't make no sense for him to do that like that. And the man just died. What the fuck are you doing? Like, but I don't think this motherfucker Gil Brandt been getting the shit he deserved. Probably because right now most people really don't know who he is. You know what I'm talking about? He's one of those legends from yesteryear. You know what I'm saying? His cowboy glory days of the 60s, 70s, 80s. You know what I'm saying? During the Tom Landry era, that's Gil Brandt. You know what I'm saying? He was front office guy. He's credited with drafting those players who made those Super Bowls in the 70s and won two of them. But he said some shit that it was, in my opinion, even worse than what Adam Schefter said. This motherfucker said Dwayne Haskins was basically living to die. And when I saw the shit, I read it first. Then I ain't no way in the hell this motherfucker said this shit. What the fuck? What the heck? I be damn. They showed the audio. They put up the audio on Twitter, and showing up that what that motherfucker saying, talking about if he had stayed in, if Haskins had stayed in school an extra year, maybe he wouldn't have put himself in this situation. And I was like, y'all know the meme from ATL where you got Big Boy's character, uh, basically saying I know that ain't who I think it is. Gil Brandt. I wouldn't have known who the fuck Gil Brandt is if I wasn't reading at the time. I was finishing up Skip Bayless's book about that era called God's Coach. We was talking about Tom Landry and who was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys back then. Gil Brandt, like I said, front office guy, personnel guy. Murchison, who was the owner. Tex Schramm, another front office guy. Like, I wouldn't have known shit about Gil Brandt if not for reading that book. But since I read the book, and I just finished it, like, this motherfucker can't be saying shit. He can't be saying a damn thing. Because, first of all, many of the players that he picked for those Dallas Cowboys, let's just say they had some rough edges. Yes, Tom Landry was called God's coach, but there were some ungodly things going on with that team. And that can go from ownership to Tech Schramm to Brandt to the players. I'm talking about alcoholism. I'm talking about cheating on their wives left and right. I'm talking about drug usage. I'm talking about drug trafficking. I'm even talking about one motherfucker, Hollywood Henderson. They allege that this man, and this is from the Baylor's book now, that Thomas Henderson fell all the way to sodomizing a girl in a wheelchair, a 16-year-old paraplegic. He was accused of forcing oral copulation, and he was convicted of sexual battery. Now, this brother, from what I understand from the book, Hollywood Henderson, went on to get his life together and became a speaker. It seemed like he really got himself together and went out here and used his story to help others. Well, goddamn it, Dwayne Haskins ain't have a chance to do that. But Gil Brandt wouldn't sit up here and say this shit. He wouldn't say that about one of those Cowboys that he drafted. Because that make him look bad. Because he picked him. But let's look deeper. At the fact that this motherfucker had a chance to pick anybody for any team, let alone the Dallas Cowboys. This man lied his way into the job. I ain't telling you nothing I'm making up. This is what I learned from the book. It just so happened that I was reading the book and was able to find out that this man was a phony. He's a fake. Again, I'm quoting the Baylor's book now, okay? It says, Gilbert Harvey Brandt was the grand master of illusion. He sometimes told interviewers he had been a defensive back at the University of Wisconsin, but he lied. He didn't even play football in high school. He had bluffed his way into pro football. So a motherfucker who sat up here and lied his way into pro football want to sit up here and denigrate this young brother who could not do the same. No matter how Haskins' NFL career turned out, this man went to one of the football programs, one of the blue bloods of big time Power 5 college football. That's what Haskins went to Ohio State University. Was a star there. That's what allowed him to get into the NFL. Unlike Brandt, who just was able to lie. There go that privilege again. See, it's easy to throw stones when you are sitting in the privileged position. When you got the high ground. It's easy to shoot down at a motherfucker who has to climb their way up, make their way up a hill. To say this man was living to die, I ain't just gonna chalk that up to no age, y'all. So I see some people doing that he's gotten too old and chalking it up to age. I ain't chalking it up to that. If I hadn't read this book, maybe so. But knowing me, probably not. But being that I read this book, hell no. That's who this man is. That's who that man is. Okay? And there's plenty of other shit in this book. For somebody that love the Dallas Cowboys, God damn it, Skip Bayless was not holding back in that motherfucking book. You had players accusing the organization of racism and shit like that. Shit. Jackson State's defensive coordinator, Coach Thurman. He played under this Gil Brandt era and shit like that. He was a leader though. You know, he was part of a black group in the 80s that kind of Gil Brandt and Tex Schramm and them couldn't really control. You know what I'm saying? They weren't just the yes sir type of cats. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit wild for a motherfucker like this to. But he's just being himself. Schefter being himself. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of shady when you have those kind of jobs. You know what I'm talking about? Because how you get the information? You getting somebody to too close to a situation to talk when they ain't supposed to talk. You know, there's a lot of quid pro quo going on. This is a shady job in the first place. So I ain't shocked by Schefter. And after reading the book, God's Coach, I ain't shocked by Gil Brandt either. But I definitely would say both of them should just shut the fuck up. Put it on something. My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me across all social media platforms, like the videos, and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit StatementTeesLLC.com and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear
makes a statement.